everybody, it's Nessa here from Nessa's Hair Extensions down at 684 King Street West in Kitchener. Okay, so today's video is for one of my lovely clients who basically she was taking her weave out because we are going to reinstall it the next day, but she wanted to know, oh, Vanessa, what can I do with my hair in terms of cleansing and washing to make it all nice and ready for when we put her weave back in the next day. And so I thought, you know what, let me make a video because this will help other people as well. So firstly, what you're going to want to do, and I'm just going to try to make this video 5 to 10 minutes long at most, because this is my 4th time doing it and it was like 20 minutes long. I'm like, how is this 20 minutes long? Okay, anyway, so the first thing you're going to want to do, once you've removed your weave and all the stitching is out and you've taken out all of your cornrows, you are going to want to section your hair off into 4 to 6 sections depending on how thick it is, and you're really going to want to make sure your hair is completely thoroughly combed out. I recommend starting with a wide bristle, sorry, not a wide bristle brush, a wide tooth comb, and then following up with a smaller tooth comb. So this is a detangling comb specifically. Do try to, if you can, avoid paddle brushes or combs with very narrow teeth, just because your hair is a little bit fragile when you take it out of a weave, and if you start really brushing it with the paddle brushes or a narrow tooth comb, you're going to cause more breakage as well, because you got to appreciate your hair hasn't been touched for a couple of months, so it's going to be a little fragile. Also, you are going to hurt your scalp because again, you've not combed your hair for the last couple of months, so that's just going to hurt. So again, wide tooth comb, follow up with a detangling comb or something along the lines of this. That will of course help to get those tangles out. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do, depending on what kind of hair texture and the thickness of your hair, you're going to want to wash your hair, of course, using one of 2 different kinds of shampoo. Now, what a lot of ladies do, the first thing that happens is they take their weave out and they wash their hair with like Head and Shoulders or something, and then your hair gets all tangled and you're like, ah, it feels horrible again. Yeah, you don't want to do stuff like that. However, again, going back to my point, depending on what kind of hair type you have, you are going to want to use either sulfate or a sulfate-free or both shampoos. So for clarification, if you have your hair texture is between a 1 and a 3B, so something like it in terms of this texture, it could be a little bit curly, but generally you've got fine hair, or it's the density, it's not as thick, you're going to want to use just a plain old sulfate-free shampoo. So if you're one of my clients using my Nessa brand essential oil shampoo, something like this would be great. But just if you don't have, if you're not sure whether your shampoo is sulfate-free or not, simply look on the back of it. It is either going to be the second or third ingredient on there, which will say either sulfate, sodium lauryl sulfate. You've also got ammonium lauryl sulfate. It'll just have the word sulfate in it, right? Okay, if you have, though, don't get me wrong, you do want to use, if you have hair textures between 3C and 4C, generally if you have that texture hair, your hair is going to be thicker. So with thicker hair comes more buildup on your weave. So if your head is like, you take your weave off and you're a perfectly young, healthy lady, and all of a sudden you got gray hair because you got so much buildup, you are going to want to use a sulfate-based shampoo. A sulfate-free shampoo will not remove the majority of that buildup, so you really, really need to use a sulfate shampoo. I would recommend, if you can get away with it, washing once with a sulfate shampoo and then following up with a sulfate-free shampoo afterwards as well. Remember, your hair should always still stay in these sections, 4 to 6 sections, and do it thoroughly. So you want to wash each section thoroughly and make sure all that buildup is out. Okay, so now that you've washed your hair, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do an apple cider vinegar rinse. This is optional, but it's something I do recommend, because the apple cider vinegar is going to kill off any bacteria that, for example, the shampoos didn't get out there for you for any reason. And it's also going to restore a lot of luster and shine to your hair as well. So apple cider vinegar is absolutely wonderful. I do use it in my How to Revive or Restore Your Human Hair Weave. So click on the link to that video and you will totally see what I do there. But anywho, so what you do for the apple cider vinegar rinse is you can take like a regular empty water bottle. Do I have one here? Yeah. So empty water bottle, you're going to want 3 parts apple cider vinegar, 1 part water. Give that a good shake and like literally just dump it all over your head or dump it on each sections. Now you're going to want to have that apple cider vinegar sit there for 5 to 10 minutes if you can get it, or really soak in. Now once that's all nice and soaked in, you're going to want to apply a deep conditioner. Please use a deep conditioner. Regular conditioner is probably not going to cut it as well as a deep conditioner, just because again your hair really needs a lot of to soak in a lot of that moisture because it is fragile at the moment. So be careful, because there's some products that are out there that may not it'll just say like, oh, it's a great conditioner, but you read the labels, read the instructions, because some things you just got to be sure, right? What I use at home is this stuff. It's Aunt Jackie's Fabulous Curls and Coils, Soft and Sassy, super duper softening conditioner. It is a deep conditioner, but can also be used as a regular conditioner as well. But again, just read the labels and make sure it says deep conditioner on it. Now, once you've, again, your hair's still in sections. Once you've saturated your hair, each section, in this deep conditioner, preferably if it is a heat-based conditioner, you're going to want to sit under a dryer for about 20 minutes or so. 20 to 30 minutes, the longer the better, really. If you do not have a heat source or a dryer, just leave it on for at least 30 minutes to an hour. Really let it get in there. Once that is completed and you've gone through your time scales, you're then going to want to rinse your hair out, again in sections, and then at that point, for added conditioning, apply your regular conditioner that you use. Apply the regular conditioner and leave it on for a minute or so, and then again rinse that out. What the extra conditioner, or just the regular conditioner, is going to do, it's going to help rinse out more of the deep conditioner, because those tend to be thicker and some have a little bit of a gritty like leftover residue kind of thingy. So the regular conditioner helps just really take everything out for you. Okay, once that's all rinsed and you're all clean and you're all done, you're not really done. I recommend doing this on a day that you're doing nothing. The next thing you're going to want to do is don't comb your hair just yet. A lot of people think like, oh yeah, it's done, so I'm going to comb my hair out and everything. No, the best time to comb your hair is when it is slightly damp. If your strands are too wet, they're going to stick together, especially on relaxed hair. So every time you're combing out, you pass through and then it's so wet it sticks together and causes more knots. So you kind of keep going over the same place over and over again because it keeps knotting. And if you do that, you're going to cause breakage with all the pulling. If your hair is too dry, I don't recommend drying it out with a blow dryer. If it's too dry, it can become brittle and you could be sucking out some of the moisture that's in there without letting it dry naturally, right? So you don't want to like blow dry it or anything like that. Wait, because again, same kind of thing if you do that. If your hair is too dry, there's gonna be more friction, and again, it's going to want to come together. There's going to be a lot of air between your hair, so you separate one strand and it goes and locks onto the next strand. And then this is again where you have constant pulling. When your hair is slightly damp, it's like that Goldilocks effect. Not too hot, not too cold. Absolutely right. It's wet enough, or the dampness is wet enough to have the follicles or the strands just not stick together. But it's it's wet enough to have the follicles not stick together like how it does when it's dry. And it's dry enough that you won't get too much clumping. Oh gosh. Anyway, Goldilocks effect. Just wait till your hair is slightly damp. Once you got that going, go from bottom or from tips to your root. Slowly go from tips to the root. Again, your hair should still be in sections. Now, once your hair is, again, combed out, you're going to want to use a nice, good oil to seal in all that moisture. If you've got thicker hair, again, between the 3C and 4C, you're going to want to use a thicker oil such as like Jamaican black castor oil, shea butter. You can also use, oh crud, why is my brain going crazy right now? argan oil, things like that. A thicker based oil is what's going to help you out and lock in that moisture at that time. Again, make sure your hair is in sections when you're doing it. For those individuals with 1 to 3B types of hair, you're going to want to use something lighter, not something so thick and heavy as castor oil, because if you've got that hair texture, all your hair is just going to stick together and it's going to look really wet and too much. So using something light like a coconut oil is really nice and light, or a serum, something like that will also be really good. Again, just make sure your hair is in sections and that you're getting everything kind of in there. Less is more in terms of the coconut oil. Don't douse your hair because it's a light oil, and I know you think like, oh yes, I've just put it on, it doesn't feel like anything's there, so let me put more on, and then all of a sudden you have like a big clunk of coconut oil. So be careful with that. And once you've completed that, style is desired. I would recommend putting it in a protective style, either some braids or some cornrows or something loose enough, just to keep all that moisture in, and there you go. Right, I hope that video helped. I'm sorry it was such a rush and we're still at like flaming 15 minutes. All right, thanks guys. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video and you know somebody that may like it as well, hey, share it, spread that love around. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, because I am always posting out those awesome tutorials, product reviews, hints on tips on how to care for your hair, your extensions, and of course, blending techniques as well. If you want more information on what it is Nessas Hair Extensions actually does, product pricing, installation services that we offer, please visit our website at www.nessashairextensions.com. You can also order online as well. And lastly, hey, who doesn't have Facebook, right? I sure as heck do. So you can check us out on Facebook as well at www.facebook.com. Oh my God, I almost forgot. /Nessas Hair Extensions. And you can view our gallery of all the lovely ladies and gents who've had installations at Nessas Hair Extensions. And you can always get updates on funny news, pictures, in-store offers, and competitions as well. Plus, if you like us, you can also get 10% off of your first purchase. So, yeah, I'm bribing you. Everybody does it. That's it for me. Thank you so much. Bye.